Hello and welcome to Your Government in Action, a presentation of Bahamas Information Services. I'm Carissa Williamson. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, announced in a national address on March 3, 2026, that an independent tribunal has ruled the Grand Bahama Port Authority liable to make payments to the government and the people of the Bahamas through 2054. He says this decision is a historic moment for Grand Bahama.
For the first time, an independent tribunal has ruled that the Grand Bahama Port Authority is liable and must make payments to the government and the people of the Bahamas until the year 2054. The tribunal also confirmed that the government has the authority to govern Freeport because, yes, of course, the people's elected representatives must have the power to prefer and promote Bahamian employment and ownership anywhere and everywhere in the Bahamas. This is a historic turning point. It is about fairness. It is about replacing drift and decline in Freeport with investment and opportunity. It's about a new chapter for Grand Bahama, one built on partnership and respect. It's about beginning a new chapter because the old story doesn't work anymore. Above all, this ruling is a victory in our ongoing struggle to defend our sovereignty and to overturn an unfair status quo and to claim the right to shape our own future. I want you to imagine how Sir Lyndon Pindling must have felt in 1969 when he spoke in Grand Bahama. He and so many others had worked and fought for majority rule, for justice and equality under the law. And yet, the second biggest Bahamian city was run by non-Bahamians because of the 1955 Hawksbill Creek Agreement, a contract signed by a white colonial government and an American businessman. Bahamians, Sir Lyndon said at the time, we are still suffering from an unbending social order, which, if it refuses to bend, must be broken. He was talking about a small, emerging nation refusing to be treated as if our people did not matter, as if decisions could be made over our heads and against our interests. Our country has come so far since those times, yet this principle is one we must continue to fight for. The status quo in Freeport has meant decisions affecting lives there are still too often made without Bahamians in the room. It was not right then, and it's not right now, that the lives of the tens of thousands of Bahamians who live in Freeport, work in Freeport, pay their bills in Freeport, raise their children in Freeport, and worship in churches in Freeport are governed by two private families who need never answer to the people. Whatever good the arrangement accomplished decades ago, it has been a long time since these massive concessions made any sense. Basic services and infrastructure have fallen behind, contributing to economic decline. Under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, many of those responsibilities belong to the Port Authority. Instead, the people of the Bahamas have been paying the bill. In 2024, acting under the law, and after careful work with independent accountants, we went to arbitration to seek reimbursement because we do not believe public taxpayers should continue to subsidize the private profits of those lucky enough to inherit an agreement made long ago. At the time, I made it clear, I prefer collaboration, but I have never feared confrontation when that's what is necessary to stand up for our people. We are the first government to take such an action, and we wanted our legal claim to deliver a warning. This old arrangement must bend toward fairness, or it will break under the weight of its own injustice. The tribunal's ruling now means that the Port Authority must bend towards its obligations and pay for their fair share, taking that burden away from the Bahamian taxpayers. The ruling means that those who want to keep Bahamians on the sidelines must bend toward a new reality and a new balance of power and responsibility. And the idea that Freeport is beyond the reach of Bahamian law and accountability that at last has begun to break. Here's what the tribunal, composed of respected international independent jurists, said in their decision. They said that the government's claim, which he made under a particular clause in the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, should be made instead under a newer 1994 agreement signed by the FNM government, who extended many of the concessions in the original agreement. Here's what is significant. The tribunal ruled that the Grand Bahama Port Authority has an obligation to make annual payments to the government and the people of the Bahamas for the remainder of the entire Hawkesbury Creek Agreement until 2054. That means the Port Authority can't just collect license fees, they have to live up to their responsibilities too. I also want Bahamians to understand the Port Authority brought their own claim against the Bahamas, against all of us, in which they argued that the government didn't have the right to be involved in most of the Freeport's affairs. They argued that the Port Authority, instead of the government, elected by the people, should control business licenses for non-Bahamians, immigration, customs, utilities like electricity, and foreign land purchases, and environmental and development approvals. They even said they should be awarded $1 billion of your tax dollars. They wanted us to pay them $1 billion instead of using that revenue for our schools, our security, our roads and airports, our development and progress. Let me say to anyone who has been rooting against us, I invite you to seriously rethink your priorities. There's no honor in hoping your country loses so you can score political points. The tribunal rejected the Port Authority's arguments, and you should have too. The tribunal confirmed that the Freeport is part of the Bahamas under Bahamian law, not a separate island governed by private rules. The tribunal ruled against 7 of the 8 claims made by the Port Authority, granted only that the government should have responded faster to a set of environmental rules proposed by them. I accept that finding. We will quickly move to do so.
And now it's time to take a look up north with our northern service.
What began as a promise to Grand Bahamian swimmers is finally coming to life as ground was broken for a state-of-the-art aquatic center right here at the GB Sports Complex. When Grand Bahamian swimmers continually brought home victory after victory at the Caribbean Games over the years, Prime Minister Philip Davis told them that their efforts, their early mornings, and their sacrifices deserved a home that would match their ambition. That promise made years ago brought Prime Minister Philip Davis to Grand Bahama for a groundbreaking ceremony for a world-class aquatic center at the GB Sports Complex on Thursday, February 12, 2026. As a former swim coach himself, the Prime Minister said the new aquatic center will give Grand Bahamian swimmers the ability to practice in facilities that are on the same level as those they compete in when they travel abroad.
We gather at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex to break ground for a new aquatic center anchored by a 50-meter Olympic-sized pool. This facility will match international standards. It will be capable of hosting major regional and international meets. It will give Bahamian swimmers the chance to race at home in a pool that prepares them for the fastest lanes in the world. I know this day has taken time. I want to thank you for your patience. There were surveys and soil tests. There were discussions with planning departments, with engineers and architects. We had to secure the land, design the facility, and make sure that what we build here will stand strong, serve long, and meet the expectations of both athletes and the wider community. During that time, some people wondered if this project would really happen. To those swimmers, coaches, parents, and community advocates who kept asking, who kept pressing, who kept reminding us of our word, I want to say thank you. You helped keep this project on the national agenda. You kept the flame burning until the match reached the fuel. This aquatic center will represent more than a pool in the middle of a field. It will include a 50-meter competition pool for elite training and major meets. It will be designed to accommodate warm-up and warm-down, proper timing systems, and the space needed for officials, volunteers, and media. There will be seating for supporters, space for officials and coaches, and room for growth as Grand Bahama swimming community expands. This is not a project for a small circle of competitive swimmers alone. This is for the children who will learn to swim here, for the grandparents who will use the water for therapy, for the teachers and instructors who will learn to swim programs, for lifeguards who will be trained to keep our beaches and hotel pools safe. We live in an ocean state. Our islands are surrounded by some of the most beautiful waters on earth. Yet, too many of our people do not swim. That has to change. As I indicated, we live in an ocean state. Our islands are surrounded by some of the most beautiful waters on earth. And as I indicated, we just don't know how to swim. That has to change. A country built on the sea should never be a country where fear of the water holds anyone back. This center will help change that story. Here in Grand Bahama, young people will gain a skill that can save their lives, open doors to scholarships, as you would have heard, and lead them to represent the Bahamas on the regional and global stage. Here, parents will watch their children discover discipline, teamwork, and self-belief. Here, coaches will finally have the facility they need to prepare athletes to race and win against the best. I want to say a word directly to the young swimmers of Grand Bahama. Some of you may be here in your team shirts with goggles hanging around your necks. Maybe you train in small pools, in crowded lanes, in conditions that are far from ideal. You wake up in the dark before school. You go back to the pool after homework. You do it day after day, even when you are tired, even when you wonder if anyone is really paying attention. We see you. And this ground is for you. One day you will walk into this aquatic center for an early morning practice. The sun will just be rising. The water will be still and waiting. You will know that your country believed in you enough to build this place. When you travel to race abroad, you will come from a facility that matches the pools you find overseas. And when you come home with medals, with records, personal bests, you will know that your success grew from the work you've done here.
Also bringing remarks during the groundbreaking ceremony was Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, who noted that Grand Bahama has produced national and international swimming champions with the present facilities. He added that with the construction of the new aquatic center, even more international swimming champions will rise up out of the second city.
Grand Bahama, putting shovels in the ground today is for you. It is for every young swimmer who has trained before sunrise. It is for every parent who has sacrificed to keep a dream alive. It is for every coach who refused to let limited facilities limit potential. And most importantly, it is for the next generation. Grand Bahama, as you already given this country champions from Freeport, P.M. Allen Murray, who carried our flag at the Olympic Games, Joanna Evans, who rose to compete at the highest international level, Lamar Taylor, continuing to make his mark regionally and beyond. Verence Burrows, who also proudly represented this island our nation with strength and discipline. They prove that world-class talent lives right here in Grand Bahama. And now we see the next wave rising. Young athletes like Marvin Johnson, Harold Simmons, Nyla Benaby, and Carifta standouts from Freeport who continue to represent the Bahamas with pride and determination. To those young swimmers and to those who will follow behind you, hear me clearly. This facility is being built for you. Every block laid, every load of cement poured, every beam raised into place is a commitment to this administration in making this for you. A commitment that your dreams matter, a commitment that you should not have to leave home to prepare for international standard, a commitment that the government of the Bahamas sees you, value you, and is willing to invest in your future. For years, the 25-meter pool helped build discipline and resilience. It shaped character, but elite competition is raced in the over 50-meter. That is the Olympic distance. That is the global standard. The Grand Bahama Aquatic Center will feature a 50-meter competition pool built to world aquatic standards, ensuring that preparation at home matches competition aboard. With movable starting blocks, the pool can convert into a 25-meter pool, maximizing training, flexibility, and year-round access. There will also be a separate warm-up pool that can convert into a springboard diving pool for official competition, expanding opportunities across aquatics, disciplines, and positioning Grand Bahama to host full-scale meets. This infrastructure designed to furnish dreams. Athletes will benefit from proper changing facilities, a dedicated cafeteria and lounge, and a fully equipped gym to prepare swimmers selected to represent the Bahamas internationally. The complex will also include properly designed marshalling areas to ensure professionalism, organization during competitions, along with adequate storage and operational support to maintain the facility at the world-class standard. Sports tourism is a competitive, and with this aquatic center, Grand Bahama steps comfortably into the race.
It is expected that once this aquatic center is completed, Grand Bahama will continue to produce more international swimmers. For Your Government in Action, I'm Andrew Coakley.
Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Miles Zarota, announced the establishment of the Protection Against Violence Commission. He says this is a step towards a national effort to prevent violence and expand support services for those affected. The announcement came during a press conference held at the ministry's headquarters on March 2nd, 2026.
This government remains firmly committed to strengthening the systems that safeguard the safety and dignity of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Protection Against Violence Act 2023 provides a comprehensive legislative framework for the protection of and support to victims of violence in the Bahamas. The passage of that act marked a significant step forward in strengthening our national response to violence. Today, we advance from statutory foundation to operational structure. In accordance with Section 10 of the Protection Against Violence Act 2023, I am pleased to formally announce the establishment of the Protection Against Violence Commission. The Commission is a central mechanism within the Act's protection regime. Its mandate is clear: to guide coordination, strengthen systems, promote accountability, and ensure that victims of violence have access to effective remedies and appropriate support services. Effective 1 February 2026, the following appointments have been made in accordance with the schedule of the Act. Dr. Marissa Mason Smith has been appointed chair, and Pastor Dave Burrows, deputy chair. Dr. Mason Smith and Pastor Burrows bring a distinguished professional experience, sustained community engagement, and direct involvement in victim support services. Their leadership reflects this government commitment to competence, integrity, and evidence-informed oversight. In addition, the following members have been appointed: Attorney Cleopatra Christie, the Crisis Center; Dr. Rosalind Aswood, Bahamas Christian Council; ex officio members appointed in accordance with Section 1A of the Schedule R: Attorney Joel Major, Office of the Attorney General; Ms. Joan Colley, the Ministry of Education; Ms. Portia Sands, Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture; Ms. Desiree Clark, National Commission of Persons with Disabilities; Ms. Shami Farrington, Director of Gender and Family Affairs. These appointments underscore the multi-sectoral nature of the Commission's work. Violence interacts with justice, education, social development, youth engagement, faith-based services, and community welfare. A coordinated national response is therefore essential. The Act establishes a comprehensive protection regime. Additional appointments will be made following consultation and recommendations of the Commission to ensure full operationalization of its mandate.
More of Your Government in Action when we return. Welcome back. The Royal Bahamas Police Force, through the Domestic Violence Standalone Unit, in collaboration with the United States Embassy and other agencies, held an interagency symposium examining safety and regulatory concerns within the jet ski and small watercraft sector. The symposium took place at the Paul Farquharson Center on March 4th, 2026.
The establishment of the Interagency Jet Ski Joint Task Force has marked a proactive and collaborative step towards strengthening maritime safety, environmental protection, and law enforcement in the Bahamas. With the growing popularity of personal watercraft among residents and visitors alike, there is an increasing need for coordinated oversight to ensure compliance with safety regulations, protect marine ecosystems, and safeguard public order in our waters. This task force brings together key agencies with shared responsibility for maritime governance, enforcement, and public safety, unified by a common goal of promoting responsible jet ski operations across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Through cooperation, information sharing, and joint operations, we will enhance regulatory enforcement, improve response capabilities, and reduce duplication of efforts among agencies. This collaborative approach reflects a commitment to effective governance, accountability, and public trust, while balancing economic activity in the marine tourism sector with safety and sustainability. As we work together for a safer waterway, clearer standards of operations, and more secure and enjoyable marine environment for all who live, visit, and work in the Bahamas.
The Hospitality Professionals Association hosted its 6th annual Pineapple Ball, bringing together members of the hospitality industry for a night of celebration and recognition. The event took place at Baha Mar Convention Center on February 28, 2026.
It is a privilege of mine to join you as we celebrate a remarkable group of retired tourism professionals whose dedication has shaped the very heart of our national identity and story. With nearly 70% of our workforce connected to tourism, this industry is more than our economy. It is our culture and our identity. And for decades, you have been the welcoming faces, the storytellers, and the ambassadors of the Bahamas. You shared our history, showcased our beauty, and turned everyday moments into lifelong memories for millions who visited our shores. This evening, we honor the work you carried out on the front lines, behind the scenes, in management, training, aviation, marketing, and community engagement. Your professionalism, commitment, and creativity laid the foundation upon which today's tourism successes stand. You trained generation, solved problems no one else saw coming, and set the standards that continue to guide us. I applaud the former Hospitality Professionals Association for strengthening its membership to more than 300 pioneering professionals. Your collective impact is extraordinary. That deserves a round of applause, yes. The Pineapple Ball celebrates your legacy, a legacy of warmth, excellence, and national pride. Though you may have retired from your roles, your influence lives on in the young professionals you mentored and the millions of guests you touched. The hospitality standards you set continue to guide our future. On behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation, and a grateful nation, thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your unwavering commitment.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Wednesday evenings where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.